What is the best business that you could start this year as a beginner? You guys want to know what a big lie you all are being told right now? It does not matter what you do as long as you are working hard. Now, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, or if you consume entrepreneurial content of any sort, maybe you watched a TED Talk or something, whatever the case is, you have probably been told that it does not matter what you do as long as you are working hard. And after being on my own for the last 7 years or so, I've learned something very, very important. And that is that doing the right thing is actually a lot more important than the amount of hours I spend doing that thing. And in the context of this video, that is more relevant than ever. And that's because we only have 1 or 2 months left in 2024. And if you actually want to make money in 2024, it's crucial that you A, start a business, that's a no-brainer, but B, start a business that is right for you. There's a lot of different online businesses that you can start, and each of them play into your individual strengths and weaknesses. Starting one business might be a lot easier or a lot better for you than starting a different kind of business. So this topic is very nuanced. And that begs the question, what is the best business that you should start in 2024 as a beginner? Now, I've made a couple of videos on this. I have one video where I give you 44 business ideas, and there's another video I made on my channel where I explain where you should start based on how much time you have, how much money you have, and what skills you have. Both of those videos will be in the description. Now, we are currently living in a gold rush that has changed everything we know and think about traditional business. And that gold rush is the birth of the internet. Duh, I'm 20 years late on this. And more recently, the birth of AI. We are officially the first generation that is living in a very long awaited period of time where we can leverage artificial intelligence to make our lives easier. And although it's basic and beta and new, it's here and it's helping us already. It has kickstarted a new wave of people opening up all sorts of businesses and leveraging AI to support their business and make their business easier. The freelance market has grown overnight, and a lot of online businesses are twice as competitive now. In fact, if you look at this graph, this is the demand for AI jobs based on Indeed.com. And you can see, obviously, the demand is skyrocketing. However, the value of AI does not lie in the way that it looks, but it lies in the way that you leverage it. 90% of people in the world are just using ChatGPT to write their emails and do their homework, but as a business owner, you are going to have to do better than that. Now, considering all things, and also considering that AI just entered the room, what is the best business that you can start in 2024 as a beginner? Well, let me start by saying this. When I started online business, I started with dropshipping. I did over $1 million in sales with dropshipping before I moved on and I started an agency, a Google Ads agency where I had clients. When I was running that agency, we got to around $60,000 a month at our peak. And we had generated over $15 million in revenue for our clients in just a few short years. Obviously, as you guys know, I have a YouTube channel as well, and I have made well over $1 million from my YouTube ad revenue, and YouTube has paid me in other ways as well. I have attempted Amazon. A lot of people don't know this, but I tried Amazon FBA. I've spent money on the inventory. I ranked my ad. I did sponsored posts. I even got one of my products in a store, like a physical location, which is interesting, which I can mention about later. I have done sales in person, and for about 1 year after COVID, I got into day trading, where I was day trading crypto. When I was day trading, my best day, I was up $75,000 in just a couple of hours. The next day I lost $30,000. And on my best trade, I had over $700,000 in unrealized gains on one single trade. So the reason I'm saying this is not to brag or flex or anything. The reason I'm saying this is because out of the most common and competitive businesses that I've ever talked about and that are common in this world, I have done or attempted pretty much all of them. I did dropshipping, I did agency, I did day trading, I did Amazon, I did sales, and I did YouTube. So these are some of the biggest ones in the space, and I have experience in every single one. Anyway, moving on, we know that our ideal online business is going to fit the following criteria. First of all, it needs to have moderately low starting capital and moderately low risk, because this is a business for beginners. Second, it needs to be somewhat scalable so that you don't learn it and then get stuck at 5 or 10K a month, and then you can never scale past that. And third, and contrary to popular belief, it actually has to be decently technical, in my opinion, so that the market is not oversaturated and so that it's not too easy where everyone is trying to do it. But at the same time, it can't be too difficult. It has to be in a sweet spot. Now, the cherry on top of all of those would be that it teaches you valuable skills that you can retain and use later in your life. And the whole Sunday would be if you could leverage AI to actually make the business a little bit easier for yourself, because AI is a powerful tool that just came into the world and we want to take advantage of it. All right, so now we're gonna quickly identify the pros and cons of each of the businesses and chart them on my screen. But before we do that, I want to tell you about Ecom Odyssey. Ecom Odyssey is a competition that I am hosting. I'm gonna give away $110,000 this year to 123 lucky winners and some not so lucky, some skilled winners as well. So yes, you heard that completely correct. I'm giving away 110 grand. And if you want to know more about that, which you can literally participate, people are going to win at random. I have the rest of the details towards the end of the video, so you can listen to them there. So for now, let's get back into the businesses, and then I'll give you guys instructions on how you can join towards the end. All right, so for the first business I'm going to discuss, it falls under the freelance category, but it is a more specific freelancing job. So freelancing is a business, and this is a specific one, which is video editing. Now, here are some pros about video editing. First of all, there's tons of work available right away. It's decently simple to pick up. It's a very, very simple business model, right? Like you just edit videos. It's not very complicated. It costs basically $0 to start. You just need to have a computer that's capable of editing, and it's extremely low risk. You're not putting any money on the line or anything like that. Now, some of the cons is that video editing is very time consuming. I personally know this. I used to edit my own videos. In order to stand out and get hired by people that will pay you a decent amount for this skill, you need to have really, really good talent or really good skills, because a lot of video editors make very similar content and it's just not, it doesn't stand out. It's not worth it. Now, the last con I have is that this is very hard to scale, right? So even if you're a great video editor and you're making $2,000 or $3,000 a month off one person, you have like 3 people you're working for, you're going to be working full time and you can't really scale past that. Now, I have here that this is good for people with low money and a lot of time and need a less risky source of income right away. Now, the next one is also under freelance, and it's copywriting, because this is so common and trending, especially now. Now, the pros are there's tons of work available right away, just like video editing. Another pro is that you can get paid in commissions for sales letters and emails, and you can actually make a ton of money. So there's different routes you can take with copywriting, and no doubt it's a very, very valuable skill. And if you get really good, you can charge commissions off VSLs or something, or off launches, and you can make tons of money. And I know copywriters make a lot of money, because the copywriter that I hired to do my next video, which is going to be a huge documentary on, I won't spoil it, but it's going to be crazy. I'm paying him $4,000 just to write the script for that video. So I know that you guys can make a ton of money. And AI makes copywriting much easier. It can help you with creativity. It can clean up your grammar, and it can just write for you, and it can help you. Now, the cons is that it's competitive and thus very hard to master. In order to stand out, you have to be really, really talented or skilled, which takes time. So this is very similar to video editing. It's harder to scale since your job really depends on the quality, and quality drops as you start to scale, because eventually you're gonna have to hire people, and the people that you hire most likely will just never be able to do it as good as you will. And another con here is AI tools that already exist and will be developed in the future and get better in the future are going to make this space even more competitive when you have softwares that are so powered they can do the jobs of traditional copywriters. Now, once again, in my notes, I have that this is good for people with low money and low time, and again, need less risky income right away. So this is, for the most part, guaranteed income if you get a job, and you can get income pretty quick. So as you can see on my online business comparison chart that I so beautifully put together, we have the category freelance. So for starting capital, we have none/low, which is a green, which means good. Time required, high. Obviously, that's not ideal. Difficulty is medium, risk is low, and scale cap is low, meaning that you cannot scale this very, very high unless you start an agency or unless you hire people, but then you risk quality and things get more complicated. So that's what we have for the first business, and that's freelance. So next we have a service-based agency. So remember, this is the Google Ads agency that I started years ago, the one that generated $15 million for clients. And this one was fun, I'm not gonna lie. And the pros to this one is that, first of all, it's low cost to start. Next pro is there's huge industry and there's tons of work available. There's tons of different things you can start agency for. Basically, any skill that involves helping a business get customers, you can create an agency around that one way or another. So there's dozens and dozens and dozens of options for you guys. There's tons of courses and resources, both paid and free, on the internet. You know, a lot of people find success in this industry. And then another pro is that it's moderately difficult. So it's not going to be quite as competitive as just being a freelancer. Yeah, I consider that a pro because it's not too difficult, but it's not like super, super easy where it's super competitive. Now, the cons are this is going to be tons of work. work. You're basically taking the entire first two examples and you're adding more work on top of it, because you first of all have to have the skill, and it has to be a good skill. And then if you're going to build an agency around it, you're going to build a business around it. You're going to build a team around it, and you have to find people that are of good quality, and then you have to manage those people and make sure that the quality of their work is matching the quality that you want to be putting out there. And things start to get more complicated. You have to get clients now, you have employees, you have expenses, whatever. It's not as easy as just having a service and providing that service for someone and getting paid. You need to market your agency, and you need to have a good service, and these things take time. Another con is if you're a beginner and you're starting with zero business experience, well, you actually have to run a business. Like, for the most part, you can't really run an agency on your own. I know some people do it, but for the most part, you can't. And if you have no business experience, you have no idea how to find people or manage people, this is going to be much harder for you than just simply starting a freelance and getting good at a skill. And the last con is that income can be inconsistent, because you can sign a client for 1 month and then the next month their business can die, or they can not be happy with your service, or they can just move on or bring something in-house, and income can be very inconsistent here. So going back to the online biz comparison chart. So starting capital, once again, it's low. It's not none/low, because you might actually need a little bit of money to start. Time required is high. You know, I mean, if it's high for freelance, it's going to be even higher for an agency. The difficulty level is medium to hard, because freelancing is medium and this is going to be harder than freelancing. The risk is low to medium, so a little bit more risk here. The scale cap is medium, because you can scale an agency. Like I said, I've personally scaled mine to 60,000 a month. I know people that have scaled their agencies to over 6 figures a month, 7 figures a month. I even know someone that sold their agency for $10 million, which is pretty cool. You can definitely make a lot of money with this business model. All right, so this, in my notes I have, this is good for people with low money and a lot of time that want to turn their current skills, keyword current skills, into a business. You can start as a freelancer and then build an agency. This is just like a step 2. It's more complicated. All right, next we have day trading. So day trading is one of the businesses that I know less about out of all of these. So for all my day traders out here, just cut me some slack here if I miss something. But the pros are there's 0 products and all issues that come with that product. There's no service, there's no products. You don't have to deliver anything. You don't have to be creative at all. You don't have to like think about things. It's all just ones and zeros, cold, like psychopathic cold trading. It's just no products, no creativity. You just got to trade. I don't know. I'm not really making that seem like a pro, I feel like, but it is a pro because it's less complicated. The next one is it's the most simple model out of all of these. In my opinion, it's very, very simple. You just have to know how to day trade. And then another pro is that you can make a lot of money in very few hours. But all of these come with cons of their own. So they're, you know, two sides of the same coin. Now the cons are this. This is a very random business model. This isn't predictable. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. Technical analysis is like a theory, and like anything can happen. Like anything can happen. It's way beyond your control. And you know, I know a lot of people make consistent money out of this, and they're very, very skilled traders. And trading is a very useful skill to have, and I'm happy that I had my phase in it. But anyone watching this that trades cannot deny the fact that it is random. You know, you do win, but you also lose a lot. And yeah, it's just random. So that's one of the cons for sure. The next one is it's very high risk, especially if you're starting out, because of the randomness of the business. The next con is it's not really an asset that you sell. You're not really building anything. If you're just day trading, you're not building an asset that you sell, you're building a skill. I'm sure you can build a business around it and trade people's money and create a hedge fund. You can take it there, but just day trading, you're not gonna sell that to anyone. The next con is that you actually need a lot of starting capital in order to make money, because if you're making 5% on $1,000, that's not sustainable. You're not gonna survive off that. The only alternative is if you're using leverage, and the more leverage you use, the more risk you are assuming, which is another con. Risk is a con. This is good for people that have consistent income and they have money saved up and they have a business and they want to learn a valuable skill and make money off of it. In my opinion, this is kind of like a hustle, in my opinion. I wouldn't really recommend this for beginners. So as you can see here, trading, we have starting capital high. Otherwise, you're not going to make money, and you don't want to use leverage so that you assume a ton of risk. Time required, medium. I mean, this could be argued, this could be put low, like medium/low, because you only have to trade a couple hours a day. But learning how to trade is going to take a long time. And I don't know, I guess I should have put medium to low here, but yeah, anyway. Difficulty level, hard, due to the fact that it's kind of unpredictable and random. And you can definitely lose money, and you have to learn how to control your emotions. So it's just definitely hard. Risk is high, obviously, and the scale cap is high, because I mean, really, you can make $10 million on a single trade. So there's no cap to how much money you can make as long as you have that money. but as a beginner, you probably don't. So realistically, the scale cap is probably low. All right, moving on to Amazon. So pros of Amazon, you have fulfillment and logistics support from one of the biggest companies in the world. So that makes that side of things easy. You have global reach for free. So you get free traffic basically. And then the third one is that you get consistent sales once you rank, and Amazon stores are indeed very sellable. Now the cons of Amazon. First of all, huge startup capital. You literally need to buy the inventory in cash and ship it to Amazon. So you need to have that money in order to start. Large competition, everyone's competing on the same platform. So, you know, you're competing with 36 other people for the exact same product, trying to like optimize your listing and your images. And that will lead to price wars, which will drive down the price and squeeze your profit margins even more. Amazon fees will eat your profit margins away, and you have limited brand control and limited scalability as well. And then the last con I have here is that it was very easy in the beginning from what I've heard, but not really as easy anymore. It hasn't been revolutionized like dropshipping has, which I'll explain later in the video. I heard some Amazon people arguing that like, oh, Amazon's better than dropshipping because you don't have to pay for ads. But yeah, that money you save is offset by the amount of money that Amazon takes just for the service that they provide, right? And on top of that, I don't know if you guys have ever ran Amazon products or not, but in order to rank your Amazon product, you have to spend money on ads. Like you have to pay and get your post sponsored and get it high up there so that you can get those initial reviews so that you're not on page 19 when you list your product, because nobody's going and buying stuff off page 19. So that's how it was for me personally. I ranked my product, and actually a store in Arizona bought like 50 of my units one time, which I thought was pretty cool, but it was definitely not free, and I definitely still had to spend money on ads. Anyway, this is good for people with a lot of money and a lot of time to invest, but it's complicated, and IDK about this one. I literally have that in my notes. IDK about this one. I was writing these notes for the video, and I was like, Amazon is kind of a bad business to start if you're a beginner, in my opinion. All right, so going back to the beautiful online chart, we have Amazon. So Amazon starting capital, high, time required, high, difficulty level, hard, risk, high, because you can lose all your money on your inventory if your product doesn't sell, or if whatever, who knows. And the scale cap is high, but not even as high as e-commerce. It's just high because you're really only limited to how many people want that product. All right, so moving on, we have sales. Again, I did this in person, never done sales on the internet except when I sold clients on my agency, but sales. Pros, zero cost to get started. There's not a huge learning curve. You know, it's not a very complicated business. You just have to learn how to talk to people. You have to learn how to work people. And yeah, it's not going to be very hard. The next one is you can make a lot of money, but it's based on how much time you put in and how much talent you put in. And those things kind of work inversely. If you're very talented, you have to put less time. And if you're not talented, you're going to have to put more time. And if you're a psychopath, you can do both and make a lot of money. One of my friends that I know used to sell insurance, and he made like 60,000 his second month ever selling insurance. And that was like his first ever gig, his first ever taste of money. So if you're crazy, you can make a lot of money right in the beginning. Now, some of the cons: it requires a lot of time in the beginning, and overall it's going to require a lot of time, in my opinion, unless you're selling high ticket stuff, because you're going to have to make a pretty decent commission to get excited about it, and you're not going to want to sell something where you're making 50 bucks, right? So you're going to have to sell something high ticket if you don't want to spend all day doing it. Another con is hard to scale. Once again, it's you're trading your time and your selling ability for money, so you can't scale it too high. The next con is it requires you to talk to people. I don't know, maybe this is something you hate doing. Maybe you're not social, or maybe you just want to be able to run a business where you don't have to talk to other people. I'm like that. I prefer not to talk to people. And so yeah, maybe that's a con for you. I don't know. Next is you need to sell a product that you're confident in and that could be harder to find. So you don't ever want to sell a product that you don't believe in or that you feel bad selling, because that will shine through your sales pitch and you won't do well. I've seen this happen, but yeah, you just want to be able to sell a product that you're confident in. So you're going to have to look for that, and it's also going to have to be high ticket. So you just have to keep that in consideration. So my notes here, I have this is good for people with low money that have time and need to make income fast. So similar to the freelance stuff. Now, going back to our chart here, we have the last one, we have sales. Now for sales, starting capital, basically none to low. Time required, medium to high. Difficulty level, medium, maybe medium to low. Risk is pretty low. You know, you're not really risking much. The scale cap is low to medium, because again, you're not really going to scale this unless you start a different business model around sales. But if you're just doing sales, you know, you're not going to make $300,000 a month. So I have a little bit of a bonus for you guys, just because I mentioned it earlier in the video. I have YouTube channels. So I have a YouTube channel. This channel is extremely profitable. So are probably a lot of other finance channels or people that you watch on the internet, YouTube is a fantastic business model. The pros, high payouts, and there's a snowball effect. So once you get the ball rolling, it just grows bigger and bigger. It's free to start, obviously. There's a lot of different routes you can go with YouTube. And if it works for you, it's almost guaranteed income. Once you get the ball rolling, like once you get 30 to 40,000 subs and you keep making videos and they get better and better, if you keep going, like eventually you're gonna have 1 million subs. Product and marketing are one, and it's a simple business model. So your videos are your product and your videos are your marketing for your product. And it's very simple, right? Like once you figure out what you want to do, you make videos about that topic. For me, it was drop shipping, and then, you know, everything else, online business, finance, real estate, whatever. So yeah, there's a whole sea of content I can make. Another pro is AI makes this easier. AI can help you with scripts. It can help you with YouTube ideas. It can organize information for you. I use AI and it helps me. So now the cons are that you're going to need a ton of time in the beginning, and even when you do it full time, and there's a lot of creative effort that is required, especially in the beginning. You have to be very, very creative when it comes to YouTube. You know, make videos that stand out and reach people that aren't saturated in a sea of other videos. And yeah, it's a lot of creativity is required. Very heavy workload in the beginning. Obviously, if you don't have money, you're going to be doing your thumbnails, your editing, you're going to be coming up with your ideas and filming all the videos. That's a lot. That's a full-time job. And then there's a lot of experimentation needed in the beginning. So these are all cons. Now in my notes, I have, this is good for people that have tons of time to invest in the beginning and people that have a lot of creativity and that's their strength. And honestly, it's a great business. It really is. I love YouTube. YouTube's changed my life and I love it. I love it. It's great. All right. So the last one. Drop shipping. So this is my bread and butter, guys. This is what got me started. I'm not the expert in drop shipping. I have made more money in my other businesses than I have profited in drop shipping, but drop shipping was the start to the fire in my life. Like the spark on that very dry stack of, you know, small you know what I'm talking about when you make a fire and you go camping. The spark and the initial flame that got everything going. And I love it. I love drop shipping and it constantly adapts and it's such a great business. So let's talk about the pros. First of all, it's free to start. Used to be that it wasn't, but now it is. It's very beginner friendly now. And another pro that you guys might not know is that it's growing rapidly. Actually, in the last couple of years, it's grown over 24%. So it's a business that is growing. Another pro is that you're gonna learn very, very valuable skills that will be useful forever. So this will be sales pages, this will be marketing psychology, running ads. You'll learn skills that you can take later on. And then the last pro I have here is that AI makes this easier. You might need a course to learn the basics. Good news for you, we have a free one, but more on that later. Now the cons, I would say, is that although this isn't a very simple business and the easiest business to start on out of all the things that I've said, it is like the most talked about and the most notorious online business. I feel like dropshipping is always definitely the biggest one, if not agency. That is another con, and it has like that stigma, but not really even too much of a con. People assume that it's saturated, but it's not even really that saturated. Now in my notes here, I have, this is good for people with low money, but a lot of time. Heavy in the beginning, you know, you're gonna have to learn a lot of skills. Definitely not a simple business. It is complex. But once you're consistent, you can easily replicate the business. And yeah, it's very, very scalable. So once you learn how to do it, there's no cap, right? So like, I've seen kids make $2 million from dropshipping. I have some friends that make $800,000 a day in e-com, and there's people out there that make tons of money. So there's no cap here. Now, going back to our business chart, you have e-commerce, right? So dropshipping is the baby version of e-commerce, but e-com. Starting capital, low/none, because of something I'm about to tell you guys. Time required, medium. It's definitely a little bit more complicated in the beginning, but once you get things running, it's actually not too much time required. The difficulty level is medium here. The risk is low. You're not risking very much. And the scale cap is high, so very high scale cap. So there you go. Those are the business models. Obviously, the more green, the better. The more red, the worse. So you kind of want to find something with as much green and as little red and orange as possible. And that's what I got. All right, so we went through all the business models. Thank you for bearing with me. Let's chart these and let's identify the sweet spot. So I'm going to put this in a cool way that you guys can visualize it. All right, so on the bottom, we have starting capital and risk. We're combining those two things. So if one is high and one is low, we'll just take the average. And then on the left side, we have time required and we have difficulty. This is how it works. So low is on the bottom left here and high is higher and to the right. So this box means it requires a lot of time. It's difficult. It requires a lot of starting capital and there's a lot of risk. So this red box and anything close to it is not ideal. And this box right here is ideal. as you can see by the word in the box. So let's start with freelance. So freelance is right here, you know, relatively low starting capital and risk. So it's pretty low, basically none to low, but the time required and the difficulty is a little bit harder. It could be a little bit harder. It could require a lot of your time if you're script writing or video editing, and it can be difficult because you have to stand out and you have to be really, really good. So I put it right here. I think that's pretty fair. Next, agency. So agency, same thing as freelance, right? It's going to require a little bit more starting capital, most likely. And there's definitely more risk, in my opinion, because you are starting a business, you have to lead a team. And honestly, this could probably even be dragged a little bit further on this scale. And then time required and difficulty. Well, it's only going to be more hard and more difficult to start an agency around a skill than to just do that skill as a service, right? So it's going to have to be higher than freelance. And so I'd say it's somewhere in this area. All right, moving on to trading, day trading. So day trading is here. Starting capital and risk. Remember, we're going to need a decent amount of money. And if it's not money, it's leverage. So either way, on this axis, we're going pretty far to the right. Now, time required and difficulty. Again, this is hard. This is hard due to the fact of its random nature. And you're going to, the time required, again, this is kind of a sliding scale. You can spend a lot of time on it. You can get really invested, or you can just be a savage at it and trade for 2 hours a day and make all of your money. Again, I know multiple people that do it and that are successful in the industry, but definitely not easy by any means, especially being able to master your emotions. So it is pretty hard. It does require time. It does require a lot of starting capital, and it is risky. So it's actually up here and it's touching this not ideal zone. Moving on to e-commerce. So we have dropshipping. Dropshipping is basically free to start now. It can be if you have no money. And if you do, it's low capital, like you can do free or low capital. And the time required and difficulty, well, it is a little bit difficult, but it's not too difficult. You can leverage AI to make it easier. There's plenty of information out there. And the time required, yes, in the beginning, it does require more time, but once you figure it out, it really doesn't require more time. So I put it here. I put it right here, just touching the edge of the ideal box, and just underneath, you know, agency and freelance. Now, moving on to Amazon. So we have another bad one. So starting capital, you obviously need money to start Amazon FBA, and the risk is high, no doubt about it. So on this side of the things, it's the highest. And then time required and difficulty, it is hard, and it does require a lot of time. And I know this from firsthand experience. You know, it's not like it was way back in the day when you could just rank a product and make tons of money. Now you have to get the product, you have to optimize it. You're running the risk that it might not even work. You have to run ads to it. You have to learn how to run the ads. There's a lot that goes into it. So for me, it's on this border of not ideal. It's far out here. All right, moving on to sales. So sales, starting capital and risk, low, very low. You know, less than drop shipping, as you can see, or e-commerce, basically free. But the time required and difficulty is harder in my opinion. Now, this might be a little bit too high. I guess we could bring this down here, because it's not that difficult, you know, and the time required, yeah, if you're talented, it's not going to require too much time. So actually, I think I was being a little unfair having it up there. I think it'd be closer to about right here. So yeah, that's where I'm at. You can disagree with me, but this is my opinion. Maybe I just forgot some things, but as you can see, sales and e-commerce are really the best businesses. The difference is that with e-commerce, once you learn it, there's no cap to how high you can go. And you're learning a lot more valuable skills with e-com that you can take and transition into the rest of your life or into the next ventures. Sales, like obviously sales is extremely important. Sales is one of the most important skills, but with dropshipping, you're learning also very important skills. Like I said, marketing, psychology, how to build how to make a sales page that converts. You're learning a lot of skills, and there's no arguing it. You're learning more skills that you are learning with sales. But in my opinion, both are really good. You should learn both skills, or you should be able to master both. So yeah, that's the chart. I hope you guys appreciate this. It took me hours to create this. But that's what I got for you guys. All right, so as we just saw, dropshipping and e-commerce was the only business that actually bordered the ideal zone for beginners. And some people may disagree with that, but you cannot lie. Dropshipping has changed a lot since 2019 to 2023 or 2024. So what makes dropshipping the ideal business? What puts it in the S tier, in my opinion? Well, the answer is very simple. TikTok. TikTok became a platform where going viral was very easy. So this is kind of in chronological order, by the way. And since it was easy to go viral, people would make viral videos around products and generate tons of sales for free. Now, this was a new concept. And it was called organic marketing. And I remember years ago making a video like in the style of viral videos, but centered around a product. And I had gotten like 600, 700,000 views on that product and made sales on that product for free. I remember doing this. So that was revolutionary for dropshipping just on its own. But then TikTok ads started to catch traction. And those are ads which basically acted like Facebook ads, but they are better because TikTok was new and the users on TikTok were young and they were shopping for products and they were not used to seeing dropshipping ads. So it was a whole new demographic. It wasn't our uncles and our aunts and our moms and our dads on Facebook that have seen these ads and they don't convert and we're not even trying to sell products to them. We had a whole different audience on a new social media platform that had never seen dropshipping ads before. And TikTok ads were very effective and still are very effective. That worked well for a while and it still works well, but it started to die down. But just when you thought it was time to move on to another business, boom, TikTok comes back with TikTok Shop. Now, basically, if you don't know what TikTok Shop is, you can send products to influencers on TikTok and they get a cut of all the sales that they generate. So they're incentivized to make great videos that go viral, and you can quickly and easily send your product to tons and tons of influencers and watch them make videos selling it. With TikTok Shop, you don't even have to make a website. You sell the product directly on TikTok. It's like Amazon, but on TikTok. Now, if you're a pro or if you're experienced in e-com, you can give all of these influencers a sample script based on the product, and you can give them content to follow and model and create, like content that has historically done well. And boom, you have an entire network of people that are happy and eager to promote your products and participate in the sales. And you're going to make tons of money. Now, I've seen TikTok Shop pop up for the last few weeks, and I have not seen one person say anything negative about it. Like, I have only seen people post screenshots all over Twitter about, first of all, how easy TikTok Shop is and how much money that they're making so fast. They're saying that this is the easiest form of dropshipping or e-commerce that has ever existed. You can also shop directly from live videos, and TikTok is genuinely pushing TikTok Shops really heavily right now. So similar to when TikTok launched, they were pushing people's videos to go very viral so that people would get engaged and stay on the platform and be encouraged to post videos because they knew it was easy to go viral. Well, the same thing with TikTok Shop. Since they just launched it, they are sending tons of traffic to TikTok Shop pages and to TikTok Shop videos. It's like TikTok is on your side. It's like you have an advantage directly from the company because they're just going to favor your video because they want to promote their new program. Now, that's TikTok Shop, and all of that isn't even to mention the crazy promotions that TikTok is doing right now. I reached out to TikTok and we created a partnership, and TikTok actually gave me a buy one, get one free discount where if you spend $1,500 on their ads platform, they will literally match that and give you $1,500 in ads back for free. Basically, your ads are 50% off for the first $1,500 you spend on TikTok ads if you start your TikTok account with my affiliate link. And those links are down in the description, by the way. Now, all of these features together have changed the game. It has made dropshipping more competitive and easier now than ever before in history. And honestly, it has never been a better time to try or attempt an online business now. Like, there's never been a better time. They're making it so easy. You have AI, you have TikTok where you can literally make videos for free, where you can literally send products to influencers for very, very low cost and get a whole affiliate network of people promoting your products. You can just simply run ads on TikTok and get discounted ad spend, which is relatively unheard of. And you have a bunch of softwares that can help you that make things easier. You have our software that's launching that's going to build your entire Shopify store for you. You have ZenDrop, which makes fulfillment very easy. It's never been easier. And on top of all of that, if that didn't make it sound easy enough, you have competitions like the one that I'm throwing, right? I'm throwing the competition Ecom Odyssey for people that attempt or get into dropshipping this year, and I'm giving away $110,000. Now, if you watched this video from the beginning, then you know what I'm talking about. If you skipped to this part, hello, you missed a lot of good and valuable content. But I'm going to tell you about this competition because it's crazy and I'm super excited about it. So I've been setting this up in secret for the last 3 months, but it's finally here. And this video marks the launch of Ecom Odyssey. So I'm partnering up with ZenDrop this year, and we're creating a dropshipping competition. If you guys were ever on the sidelines about dropshipping, this is the reason to finally jump in the water and give it a test. So during the next 3 months or 90 days, we're going to be giving away $110,000. Now, there's going to be two kinds of prizes this year. This year, we're going to have lottery prizes, which are just given out randomly to people that are participating in the competition. And we're going to have grand prizes, plural, because we're going to have 3 of them. One is for 10 grand, one is for 15 grand, and the last and final grand prize is for 25 grand. Now, the way the lottery works is every week we are going to pick 10 people that are participating in the competition at random and literally just give them $500 every single week for 90 days. And there's no cap to how many times you can win. So you can win the lottery 5 times and win $2,500 just for participating in the competition. Now, for the grand prize, all you have to do is generate the most amount of sales and submit your results at the end of each 30-day cycle. So there's a 90-day competition. Every 30 days is one cycle. And if you submit your results and you have generated the most with your new store that you started at the start of the competition, then you will win the grand prize. And if you're a grand prize winner, you can win lottery as well. So you can win more money than just the grand prize. If you think about it, we're literally paying you to start and attempt dropshipping at a time that it has never been easier in history. I don't know, it sounds crazy. Now, to get the full details on this competition, the link is down in the description. You can go on the website and read through all of the rules and regulations and the guidelines on how to win. Once you sign up, there's a video of me explaining everything in depth, in detail, and I try to be as clear as possible when it comes to how to participate and what the rules are. And I think it's pretty simple. So if you want more details on this, please go to the website in the description or sebastiang.com/ecomodyssey. Go read through all the rules. And please sign up for the competition because it's going to be great. We're going to give away so much money for Christmas and for New Year, and it's amazing. Now, we went through all of the businesses, we explained the pros and cons, we charted them on a graph, and we came to the conclusion that dropshipping was a very, very decent business, very competitive business to start if you're a beginner. Because of this competition, it has never been a better time to start than literally right now after this video, because this is the launch of that competition. I've never had access to anything like this. I have never been paid to attempt to start my dropshipping business. I had to do it the old-fashioned way, which is not even crazy. Like, it's crazy how much easier this space has gotten in the last 5 years. In my opinion, it's time to stop sitting on the sideline and it's time to get to work, guys. So I hope you go enjoying this competition. I wish you all the best of luck. I hope you guys win money, and I hope you guys come out with a successful business, because last year the winner of the competition won 25 grand, but his store is, as of this morning actually, just crossed $2 million in sales. So he started the competition and he had a business that did $2 million in sales. I hope to see you guys all there, and I will see you guys in my next video, which I'm very excited for, and that one is going to be crazy. So anyway, see you guys there.